Hey friends, welcome back to She's At It Again. My name's Tanya, and I'm laughing because I come outside to kind of do the intro to the video, but all of a sudden I hear my neighbor, little man. We call him little man because he's little. He's the youngest of three kids, and he started yelling. If I could get him on video, that'd be funny. Okay, so today's video is a little bit different. We're not going to be cooking anything, not anything. It was supposed to be in like the hundreds today, like 105, 104. So it's not oppressively hot, but it's only because we have cloud cover right now, which is a lot of relief. So we're not complaining about the cloud cover, even a few sprinkles this morning. But what I wanted to do, I've compiled what I consider a sort of a comprehensive list of energy saving ideas. Now during the summertime, we obviously think about that. During the dead heat of winter, we think about that. But I wish I'd have thought about this in the springtime to kind of get the list together so you'd be prepared for summer. But better late than never. So let's get started. I'm going to take you to a few rooms in the house, and we're just going to go area by area and bring out some of the, to me, more obvious things to save some energy. So let's go. So the first area I want to talk about on saving energy is in the bathroom. That's kind of a given to a lot of people. I mean, how much energy can you use in a bathroom? But if you think about it, there's so much heat that builds up in there. And your air conditioner in the summertime does two things. And I asked an expert about this. It was my husband. He's in the HVAC business. He said that the air conditioner does two things. It cools your house, or it makes cool air by removing the hot air from the atmosphere, which makes sense. But the second thing it does, it removes moisture from your house. If you'll notice, if you have a central air conditioning system, there will be a little pipe that leads out of your house, and there's water constantly dripping out of it, particularly when it's humid outside. That's the condensation, or not the condensation, the moisture from inside your house. It's removing the moisture from the air particles and getting it back outside. So what you want to do is try to cut down on as much moisture in the house as you can, and the heat as well. That's kind of a given. So the first thing I want to talk about is taking as cool of a shower as you possibly can. Obviously take a quick shower to save on everything, but turn the water down as cool as you can possibly stand it, because that's going to eliminate a lot of that humidity creeping into the rest of the house. The other thing is always use your bathroom vent when you're taking a shower. Anytime you've got moisture present in the room, use that vent, because it's going to help get that moisture outside the house, eliminating your air conditioner having to work overtime to get it out of the house. LED lights. I cannot say enough things about LED lights, particularly the daylight brightness, or the daylight color of lights. We have daylight in several rooms in the house. This is one of the rooms that has daylight bulbs in it. I have several in this room because this is not a huge bathroom, but a pretty big bathroom. But they are just a pure white. It's like sunshine coming into a room. So if you can go to a store and look at the difference in soft white, bright white, and daylight, you will be shocked at how pretty the color is. I absolutely love it, and especially in my kitchen, but I do love it in the bathroom too. And the last thing is, you always want to close shades. If you have a window in your bathroom and you think, okay, I'm not taking a shower or anything and nobody's in here, I'll just open the shades to let more sunlight in. Don't do that in the summertime, particularly if it's an east window. This is an east window, and in the morning time, especially in the summertime, the sun just beats down in here, and it warms up the bathroom really fast if we don't have the shades closed. So that's the things we want to talk about in the bathroom. Let's move on to another room. Okay, so we've moved to the bedroom now. This is not a room where I have daylight lights in here, because if my husband accidentally turned the light on when I was trying to sleep and it had daylight bulbs, it would probably be too much for my brain. They're just that bright. I mean, just the color is so pure. So we do have soft white. I think we have soft white lights in here, but the lamps, the ceiling fan, all that has LED bulbs in it. I'm telling you, they are so much cooler than incandescent bulbs. You just have no idea how much heat incandescent bulbs contribute to a room until you get a lot of them going. But once you change to LED, that all goes away. You cannot blame it on the light bulbs. So in this room, really, other than changing out to LED bulbs, is to make sure all the shades are closed. during the daytime. Now, we do have one window that does not get sun coming directly in. That's the one over there. But we have a window over on this side, and it's closed because that's the east window as well. So anytime direct sunlight's coming in, make sure those are closed. Painting your bedroom a cool color not only helps with the ambiance of it, but ours is a cool color, so it helps during the summertime. In the wintertime, I'm going to pile up in here just as soon as it gets dark, which is way too early. And I'm not going to pay attention to the color of the walls. But the other thing is to have a ceiling fan in your room to sleep with instead of turning the air conditioner so cool. Just that air moving across your body will help save on electricity as well, and you'll feel cooler. This is our living room, and I only have the draperies open directly across from me to bring light in here. We have lots of lamps in the room, but I don't put daylight bulbs in the living room as well because it's just too bright for those rooms. I use them in the kitchen, the laundry room, and in the bathrooms. So to save energy, keep your draperies closed. If you can find blackout lining for your draperies, that's a really, really good investment. We did that when our house burned several years ago and we had to have all the draperies made for the house. I opted to have blackout lining put behind all of them, and I will never, ever regret that cost involved in that because it is so worth it. In the wintertime, it helps keep the cold out. In the summertime, it helps keep the heat out. It is just remarkably beneficial. The other thing is to, if you have a ceiling fan in your living room, you don't necessarily need it on all the time. Just when people are present in the room, it's nice to have the ceiling fan going, keep that air stirred up. And of course, use LED bulbs. You don't have to use the daylight, but the LED bulbs, especially, a lot of people keep a lamp on all the time in the living room or several lamps just because that's the way their parents did it, or it just looks pretty. I just think it looks pretty. But make sure you have LED bulbs in there. They do not produce enough heat to make a difference. So the incandescent bulbs will. So helpful tips for your living room. Let's move on. Okay, we're here in the laundry room. And the energy saving tips that I have for you in this room is use cold water when hot water is not absolutely necessary in your washer. I guess that's something our grandmothers taught us back years ago. I know mine did. She said always wash in cold water, and she used Cheer laundry detergent. And I do not use Cheer laundry detergent, but I do wash in cold water. I use a disinfectant in there. But if it's towels or something like that, or sheet, bed sheets, things like that, that I feel like just needs that extra boost of killing germs, then I will definitely use hot water. But I use cold water as much as I can. When I dry my laundry in the summertime, I hate the heat that the dryer produces. I know the vent goes underneath the house, but it just produces heat in the laundry room, plus all the humidity as well. And we talked earlier about the air conditioner working hard to get humidity out of the house. So what I normally do is, no matter what the clothing is, I take it out of the washing machine, put it into the dryer, and I turn it on air only. And I might tumble dry it for about 15 minutes or so, and all that is just to get all the torn up Kleenexes that I have washed in my pockets accidentally, to get them to go into the lint trap because I am the champion of washing some tissues because I stuff them in my pockets like a squirrel stuffs nuts in his cheeks. So we wash a lot of tissues. So I have to get all the lint and fuzz off the clothes, but I don't necessarily want the dryer to dry them. So this produces no heat. Then I take them out of the dryer and I hang them up on my drying rack, and I'm going to show you where that is in just a minute. I don't normally let people go in my garage and look at stuff, but I do want to show you this drying rack. So I'm not going to show you around the garage. I'm just going to show you the drying rack. But the other energy saving tip is I have daylight bulbs in this ceiling fan. Ceiling fan being in your laundry room is imperative. That's just a must. You need a ceiling fan in your laundry room. But we have daylight bulbs in it, and see how bright they are. It just makes the white look white, and it's just like sunshine coming in. I love it. So now we're going to go outside. I'm going to pop the garage door open, and I'm going to show you the drying rack. But instead of drying your clothes in the house, which if you live in an apartment or someplace really small, like property where you're attached to somebody else, it'd be kind of awkward hanging your clothes outside. And I understand that. I understand not everybody has a house that they have this luxury. But if you do have a garage or someplace like that to hang your laundry, sometimes if you put it outside, sometimes birds come along and sit on it and they will poop on your clothes. I'm just here to tell you, just, no filter there. The birds are going to poop on your clothes. But if you put them in your garage, the birds can't get to it. But it is as hot as an oven in my garage in the summertime. Like right now, it's way over 100 in my garage. So it really takes no time for them to dry out there. It's not a dusty, dirty place. So your clothes are going to stay clean. But I have a rod out there that I put my clothes on clothes hangers and then put it on this rack out there to dry. And they dry lickety split. So I'll show you that. Okay, so see this rod up here? I have it attached. Oh, the dogs can hear me out here. They think I'm talking to somebody. This is attached by, let me see if I can get a close-up of it, by these little hooks up here. And then I just have what I call swing set chain. I don't even know what it's called, just some kind of chain. And then I've attached some, I think that's probably plumbing pipe that they found underneath our house when they encapsulated underneath our house. I told them, give me all the trash that's down there. And so they did. They kept saying, ma'am, it's a lot. Yep, I want all of it. So I do stuff like this with it. But the rod is pretty long. And as you can see, I just have laundry hanging here. And it dries really, really nicely. So now you have a look into my secret drying system. Isn't that cool? I was pretty proud of myself for doing that. So, all right, now you know. All right, let's go in the kitchen. Okay, back in the kitchen again. So I've brought my piece of paper here because I wrote these down. I have a few for the kitchen. All right, first thing is your cooktop and oven, use it as little as possible. I know this sounds like a given. I mean, most people in general just use their oven and cooktop as little as possible because they don't want to cook. But I'm saying for the factor of heat. So use it as little as possible. So I know you've heard me say this several times, and they're getting aware at church now. They make fun of me because anytime somebody says something about a crock pot, they'll say, and Tanya's going to plug hers in on the porch. Yep, that would be me. Y'all just go ahead and do your thing in your kitchen and heat it up. I'm going to plug my crock pot in on the porch. I'm going to plug anything in out on the porch that I possibly can where it's not going to heat up the house and fight the air conditioner. So obviously you can see my ceiling fan going, and I love, love, love my ceiling fan. That's a Casablanca fan, and it's probably the quietest one we have in the entire house, so I can't say enough good things about them. This is not a Casablanca fan promotion, but if you know where to access a Casablanca fan, I would say check it out. They are really good products. Run your dishwasher at night. If that's possible, then you can just unload it in the morning when you get up and run it on the dry or cool cycle. Or when you dry, don't run it on the heated dry. Run it on the dry cool cycle. It's because that's a lot of heat coming out of that dishwasher door. I don't know if you've ever felt that steam coming out when it starts the drying process, but it does put out a lot of heat. But if you dry it on cool cycle, then it won't produce near as much heat. If your ventahood is one that exhausts to outside, many of them do not. They just blow right back into the same room once it goes through a filter. Mine goes outside. I know where the ductwork is outside. So if your ventahood exhausts to outside, by all means use it. I don't care if you're just boiling a pot of water to cook some pasta in. Use that ventahood. Get that steam, get that moisture outside, get the heat outside. Plus it keeps the smells from the cooking things staying in your draperies and things like that if you have those around. And again, LED lights, you can see my lights up here. I think we have 13 in the kitchen. I have 3 different switches to determine which ones come on one side of the kitchen, the other side of the kitchen, or the 4 around the island. And I love those lights. We had them changed out several years ago. That was actually my birthday gift for my husband a few years ago, was to change out my incandescent lighting to LED lights. And in the summertime, used to, because the incandescent lights were so hot, I wouldn't even turn the lights on. I'd turn the little fluorescent lights on above the cabinets and below the cabinets, but I didn't even know what our incandescent lights in the ceiling looked like in the summertime. It was so hot, I just couldn't stand it. So now these stay on almost all the time that we're awake. I come in the morning, turn them on. I hardly ever turn them off unless I just go for an extended period of time out to run errands. I'll come back, turn them right back on. So these hardly ever go off. They do not contribute to the heat. Let's see if there's anything else. I think that's it. Again, you can use an electric skillet. You can use a griddle. You can use a slow cooker, anything like that that you can plug in outside. Trust me, it is so advantageous to cook it outside instead of your air conditioner fighting with it. Okay, let's go back outside and we'll have some just general tips about saving energy. Okay, we're back outside. So a few other things I wanted to list along with these other things in each separate room was just in general, LED lights are just a whole lot cooler. Trust me, it's worth the investment. I'm not even kidding when I say that. The other thing is avoid standing water. Anytime you have water in a tub or a sink or a bucket, I mean anything like that, it's going to contribute to that humidity factor inside. So consider just dumping that out, using it wisely. Go dump it in your flower bed or out in your yard or someplace. It can always benefit for the extra water, especially right now it's really dry. No candles. If you think candles are pretty, go get some with that little fake flame on it. I have some in my foyer that looks exactly like just a flickering flame, and it's not a flame. There's no fire involved there. So they really do contribute a lot to the heat. In the wintertime, you wouldn't think so. In the wintertime, they're fine, but in the summertime, candles are not a good thing for the house. Change your air conditioning filters often. I can't even say this enough. My husband gets so frustrated because people just ruin their air conditioners because they just won't change the filters. And just consider it like a breathing apparatus for your body, and you wouldn't want a lot of lint and pet fur and dirt and stuff like that to get on it. It'd be harder to breathe, and your air conditioner needs to breathe. So change your filters often, very often, like every month. Mark it on the calendar, first day of the month, change that air filter. They're relatively inexpensive considering how much an entire unit costs. And then for your blinds, you want to have your blinds closed during the day, but it matters which direction they go. If you are on a ground level, if you're in an apartment upstairs, you know you have to have your blinds where they're tilted upward toward the outside. So if you're looking out, your blinds should go up like that to the outside so people can't see in if they're down on the ground. But if you're just on ground level, you need to have your blinds pointing up where if you look out, you can see the ground. That way the sun cannot shine in and make it through those little cracks. So also on the outside, you want to keep debris away from your outside air conditioning unit. Another thing that keeps it from breathing. There's a thing going around on social media right now, people putting tents and things over their condenser unit outside. That's not good. That's so dangerous. That actually is very frightening. Whoever came up with that idea, that's not a good idea. If you want to plant a tree where it'll shade it, that's one thing. But to put something directly over your air conditioning unit, again, that's exhaust air coming up and it needs to breathe. So the experts are saying by no means do that. So please don't do that. But do keep it clean. Take a water hose, wash it off. Have someone come out and service your unit at the beginning of summer, beginning of winter. That's just what you do to prolong the life of it. If you have your car serviced and you're that type of person, you need to have your air conditioner serviced too. If you use a box fan in a room, like we have a sunroom that does not have an air conditioner in it, and we just go out there. It's just like a Florida room, a lot of people call it. It has a lot of windows in it. I have window treatments, but sometimes I'll open the window. But do not point the box fan to blow inside to your room. You want to point it, you put it at a window and have it blowing outside. So you're going to be blowing that hot air out of the room. So I hope these helpful hints have actually been helpful and been advantageous. Maybe something struck a chord with you and you thought, you know what? I never thought about that. So maybe just one thing off this whole list would have helped. So thank you so much for spending time with us. We look forward to seeing you next time, and who knows what we'll be cooking then. So have a good day.